Hi, it's Mark from Saphrox Studios here. Going to chat a little bit about guitar tuners today, in particular electronic tuners. Now, when you go into a guitar store, you will find a ton of them on the wall. They're different shapes, different colours, different prices, and they're all designed to work in slightly different scenarios. I have 4 or 5 tuners that I use on a weekly basis, and I choose the one I'm going to use depending on the environment in which I expect to be using it. Now, guitar tuners come in 2 categories. We have guitar tuners and we have chromatic tuners. Now, guitar tuners deal exclusively with the 6 strings of standard tuning for guitar. So that would be E, A, D, G, B and E. Now, with chromatic tuners, that deals with all 12 notes that we generally find in the Western culture musical scales. Now, you can still tune a guitar with a guitar tuner, of course. But if you're at your early stages of playing, you may not be so skilled at telling the differences between pitch. You might not be able to work out when you've played 2 notes, an E and an F sharp for instance, which one sounds higher. And therefore having an electronic box to show you that might be a little bit of an advantage for you. Now, if a manufacturer was to release 2 products, a guitar tuner and a chromatic tuner, you'd probably find that the price difference would actually be about £4 or £5, which isn't that much. And I would really say always go for the chromatic tuner. It is a far better investment. Let's give yourself a scenario here. Now, many students in their early ages have guitars that go into soft cases or gig bags. And very often when they go in there, the machine heads get twisted, and that means that the sound of the string is going to change. You might also find that you've got someone with little fingers at home that likes to run around and twist machine heads, and then again when you go to tune it, it's all out by a long way and you get a bit confused which way you're supposed to twist the machine head to get the string to pitch. Now, if you were confronted with the note of your string trying to get it to E but it actually being an F sharp, that is basically a tone difference. And if you have a guitar tuner that deals with E, A, D, G, B, E, it doesn't have an F sharp on its display. So it might be saying it's an E that's very high, or it might be saying it's an A that's very low. It might also just be flicking around because it's sort of in the middle between 2, and you might just be very, very confused. This might result in you making a bad decision and twisting the machine head the wrong way and end up snapping the string, which gives you a whole nother headache. So with chromatic tuners, it would actually display that the string pitch is at F sharp. And if you're trying to tune it to E, through a little bit of understanding of the musical setup, the musical alphabet, running A through to G and repeating, and that there is no sharp or flat in between E and F or B and C, to get from F sharp down to E, you would have to go F sharp, down to F, and down to E. So you can make a slightly better calculation on which way you're going to tune it. It might actually also result in quicker tuning for you, which is always a good thing. So let's take a look at the tuners that I have. Now, first of all, we're going to have a look at smartphone tuners. Now, this Boss tuner that I have here is available on the Android store and also on the App Store. This is the TU3 Boss tuner. It's fantastic, completely free, works really, really well, chromatic, and it's always in my pocket. I don't necessarily use it for lessons, I don't necessarily use it when I'm at gigs, but I do find that if I go into a guitar store and I want to pick up a guitar to try it, don't want to ask a member of staff necessarily, can you get me a tuner, or you're struggling to hear because someone else is playing in the back, etc. It's a great little tuner to pull out and just try and get the unit in the guitar in tune, so you can have a proper go and see whether it's going to be your next investment. Now, there are loads of them out there. Some of them are appalling, some of them are really good. Now, the difference is basically how quickly they respond to sound. Now, you don't want one that responds to sound too much. That might sound like you're going backwards a little bit on technology, but it's basically if something's flicking around so responsively, it's very difficult to actually make a decision in which way you're going to twist the machine head. When you pick a string, if you pick it quite hard, you'll actually stretch the string a little bit, and because the string has got longer, it will drop in pitch, and then as the tension of the oscillation decreases, the string will actually go back up to pitch. So you actually hear into it. If you have a tuner that responds to that, it makes it really hard to work out whether you're in tune or not. You want something that gives you like an average, and the Boss tuner here works on that principle. It's pretty fast, but at the same time slow. It's the perfect speed to be able to get the information you need so you can get your guitar in tune, and all free. Now it works in two modes. You've got the portrait mode and the landscape mode. It's basically, it just looks like a pedal I'm going to show you later. It's based on the TU3. I have the TU2 here, which is the older model. But yeah, and if you switch it round to landscape mode, it's a slightly larger screen for you to get your info from. So free, that's the Boss tuner. Great thing. Just download it. It's a no-brainer. Right, so let's move on to tuner number 2, and in my list that would be the JT-01 from Joyo. It's a chromatic tuner, retails about £10. I've actually seen it go for as low as £5. It falls into the category of tuners called a clip tuner. It has this little bulldog clip on the back, and it's designed to fit straight onto your headstock and allow you to twist if it's designed properly to let the screen be viewable by the player. I've seen some that allow the screen to be twisted only one way and not the other way, and it's kind of not so good for a left-handed player, but make sure you get that right. They tend to work in 3 different ways. This is a vibration tuner only, but you can get them with mics fitted and you can get them with mics and vibration. Now, I prefer the vibration only. If you're working in an environment which is quite noisy, and let's say you're in guitar ensemble, there's 12 guitarists all in that ensemble, all trying to tune up at the same time. If you've got a mic going in the room, the tuner's going to go a little bit crazy because it's hearing everybody tuning, and you're not going to get a readout exclusively for your guitar. This one, however, being clipped onto your headstock, is going to give you that exclusive reading and allow you to tune your guitar without all the other noise affecting it, and it's going to be less stress and you'll be able to get started much quicker. I use this in my studio. I know it's not noisy in my studio, but I just leave it on my guitar all the time. Sometimes you get guitars which have them built in, which is great. Mine don't. So this is a great add-on for that sort of scenario. But there we go. The Joyo tuner JT-01 for about 10 quid. So great little tuner. Right, so move on to tuner number 3, and in my batch that's the Korg CA-1 chromatic tuner. Now this retails from about £12 to £16. I use it every day when I'm out teaching. It's the tuner of choice that I use in my teaching bag, tune my own guitar, tune my students' guitar, etc. It has a microphone in it which picks up the noise in the room, and if I'm teaching an electric guitar, I can plug straight in using a jack input. It's a great unit. It's very accurate. It's been very sturdy. I've had it in my bag now for about 5 years and it's never let me down. Very, very good device. Now you get some tuners out there that have 2 sockets in it, one for in, one for out. Allows you to leave the tuner constantly in your signal flow, so you don't have to unplug from the amp, etc. Now it kind of gives a scenario that it works great in a live situation. It doesn't, unfortunately, because it's very difficult to see the screens on these kind of devices. Unless it's lit at the back, it's going to be very difficult to see what it's actually trying to tell you in a dimly lit room. So yeah, the other thing is if it's an inexpensive tuner, sometimes it tends to zap a little bit of your tone out of your guitar signal, makes it a little bit hissy possibly. It's not really advisable to leave it in your chain. So yeah, this is a great tuner for taking about, tuning, putting away once you're in tune, etc. I wouldn't leave it plugged in. Obviously I can't because I've got no out on that, but this is a great little tuner. Like I say, Korg CA1. Right, so let's move on to tuner number 4, and that would be the Boss TU2 pedal. Now there's a newer version of this, is the TU3. Now they retail for about £65, which is a lot of money, and this you can probably get on the second-hand market for about £45. This is a TU2. Now these are what we call stage tuners, and they come in a pedal housing. So basically you need to put them on the floor, and you need to see them from a distance, and therefore they're designed with a highly lit bright screen, a readout to tell you what the name of the note is that your string is tuned to, plus a load of LEDs which will show you whether it is flat or sharp. All you have to do is get the tuning strobe LEDs to reach 12 o'clock. It will go green and it will confirm that you're in tune. Now these don't have a mic on them, so you need to use them with some sort of cabled guitar. So whether it's electric guitar or an electroacoustic, you plug your output from your guitar cable into the input of the pedal, and then you run the output of the pedal off to your amplifier or other pedal devices. Now, generally what happens with these is that it allows you to activate the pedal, and when it does so, the output will be muted. Now, this is great because none of your adoring fans want to listen to you tune up. So the fact it mutes everything, goes nice and quiet, very, very quick way to get tuned up and make sure you're ready for the next track. I tune up with this absolutely at the end of every single song. I want to make sure that my guitar is in tune for the rest of the set, and you never know what's going to happen. It gets quite hot up on stage, and things can change quite quickly. So yeah, always check your tuning. Great unit to do it, and to do it quietly and discreetly. Now, another thing which is great about this pedal is that this will work off of 9 volts, but it will also work off of a wall wart, some sort of mains adapter. And not only does it have an in for your mains adapter, but it also has an out. So you can get a daisy chain cable that will run from this and power any other similar 9 volt pedal. Now, that's great when you're getting started. It does introduce a little bit of noise into your signal, so I wouldn't advise it if you're a pro, but yeah, using a wall wart is all good, or get some sort of breakout power box. There's a whole nother story though. If you're just beginning, or it's like sort of school band, etc., great pedal to have in your chain. Get the power, mains power, and get the daisy chain to go off to drive, like power your distortions, etc., like that. So yeah, really, really good pedal. So that's the TU2. It does various modes. Chromatic, guitar, does flattened tuning. So if you're doing loads of weird tunings, whatever it be, it's always going to have you back. So really, really good tuner. So that's the TU2 from Boss. Right, so I hope that gives a little bit of a clearer understanding about the different tuners, from free ones to clip tuners to just little box tuners to pedal tuners. Whether you're using it in a loud room, whether you're using it at home, whether you're using it on stage, you need to make sure you have the right tuner for the various scenarios. The more you spend on your pedals, the better the circuitry. So if you are going to leave them in your audio chain, make sure that they've got a decent circuit and that they are not going to take away guitar tone and volume. You don't want to spoil your sound just by trying to tune your guitar. So there we go. Right, hope that helps. I'm Mark, Saphrox Studios. We've got a load of other videos out on our YouTube channel. Please subscribe. Please leave any comments you may have in the comments section below. It would be really good to hear from you. See you later. Have a good one.